thank you for the wonderful introduction. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, quickly, this is my introduction slide. My name is Colin Bell. I am the co-founder and chief growth officer for Growcentia. Growcentia is engaged in cannabis cultivation. This is what we do. And so that's pretty much what this presentation is going to be talking about, and the technologies that we develop to enhance crop productivity across many crops, although our company is focused on the cannabis industry, 100%. We develop liquid organic microbial soil additives that act as a catalyst to maximize plant nutrient uptake. For a quick background, very quickly, as a research scientist at Colorado State University, I had a team. We were very successful at publishing a number of papers focused on plant microbe interactions. We were very, very successful in academia. The intent of all our research was focused on ultimately developing microbial technologies that could enhance crop productivity, quality, and yield to bring value to farmers. At one point around 2013, we realized we weren't really making an impact as scientists. Although we were publishing a lot of papers and we had received millions of dollars of grants from the federal government, we hadn't really deployed that technology or launched any technology bridging the gap from academia into industry. So we decided to make a change. We got $1 million grant. We flipped our lab from a fundamental science lab to a applied science lab and started thinking about how we could make technologies to get products in the hands of growers. Our first product, Mammoth P, was developed at Colorado State University. Mammoth P is a liquid organic microbial soil additive that acts as a catalyst to maximize plant nutrient uptake to significantly increase cannabis yield by at least 16%. I left the university in March 2015 to start our company, Growcentia. Just me, working in a one-car garage in a rental house, making the product and trying to make a difference as a scientist. 3 years later, we're now selling, as was mentioned, in over 900 stores across the country. I visit growers and farms and grow shops all over the world now. Seeing the world one farm at a time, one grower at a time. I'm here to tell you this is an amazing industry and it's here to stay. Today I'm going to talk mostly about our science and how we think about bridging the gap of bringing nature and natural processes into cannabis cultivation, and how that can bridge the gap into changing the world by bridging natural technologies into broader agriculture. And this is really important. I'm going to start by talking about the importance of plant microbe interactions. If we understand that, we can understand the importance of these technologies and how they can not only enhance cannabis productivity, but productivity to feed the world across many, many crops. I'll talk more specifically about how our company thinks about developing these products as a core team of PhD soil microbiologists. Not only me, but we have a huge team doing that. And so I can tell you about how we make Mammoth P and how it functions and how it works. Then I'm going to finish by talking about the impact I think we make as manufacturers of microbial products and as growers and farmers who start to incorporate microbes into their cultivation facilities. I'm going to start by saying it is a fascinating time in the world, and it's a more fascinating time to be in the cannabis industry. The cannabis industry is projected to grow to $100 billion by 2029. Our state in Colorado alone sold over $1 billion worth of cannabis-related products last year. That's an amazing number. And I think just in Colorado, just in one state in the United States, they sold over $1 billion worth of product. Flower, a plant. It's amazing. And it's going to continue to grow. This is real. And it's real not only because of recreation, but because of medicine. And cannabis as a plant, as a seed, has one of the most nutritious qualities of seed, and it's a full plant-derived protein, which the world needs. And for textiles, it's a multi-purpose crop that's going to change the world, and it's not going away, and it's going to be adopted across the globe. And I've already seen it. Through Europe, obviously through the States, through South America, it is everywhere.
We're backwards.
It's everywhere.
yeah. So
I've traveled to Is it the UK the largest exporter of
Yeah.
It's here.
Exporter.
It's here.
Yeah. Yeah, our Schedule 1 cannabis.
No, they say that's
No
what it has.
medicinal.
Moving forward, we can talk about this particular topic. Getting back on track, I also think it's a very challenging time as this industry progresses for cultivators. How are cultivators going to continue to increase productivity and quality to meet the growing demand? And that might seem like a far off challenge, being in a market like the UK, where those demands probably have not exceeded production yet. But in Oregon, or California, or Colorado, those are real challenges. In most places in the world that are adopting cannabis cultivation as a commodity crop, this is a challenge. We think this also presents an interesting opportunity for all agriculture segments, including cannabis, for innovative technologies that can significantly increase crop yield without significantly increasing operational input costs. It's clear we need to produce more with less. And in cultivation, in this industry and across the board, successful farmers are going to have to focus on increasing precision. And the highest precision agriculture crop I've ever dealt with is cannabis. And this is the formula that we like to use to demonstrate growing with precision. It's a very simple phenotype formula, and I'll walk you through it. Pardon me, you can see here. P for precision agriculture, or phenotype, because again, this is a simple phenotype formula, meaning the optimal crop quality and yield that we desire. Is a very simple function of optimizing G, plant genetics, and optimizing E, and I write this E sub F, which is environment, which includes lighting and climate and fertilizer inputs and technologies. And optimizing, to finish out the formula, the interaction between genetics in the environment, because not all plants work well in all environments. So for precision agriculture, you have to find the plants or phenotypes that work the best with your crop or your management practice. And then the final term, standard error, we want to minimize the variability from crop to crop. If we follow this formula, we can succeed across any agriculture segment. But this is easier said than done. But it works. For example, the improvement of plant genetics has significantly improved the quality of cannabis in the purpose of this talk from over the last decade. And the evolution of cannabis landrace strains to the strains that we have available to us today is the perfect example. And you could substitute maize in this example, or corn in the UK, I think maize. And by integrating precision agriculture delivery, fertigation systems, increased nutrient technology, we've been able to significantly increase crop yield beyond any historic precedent. And this is true across every crop. This formula works. And I'm here today as a PhD soil microbiologist to talk about how soil microbes fit into this equation. Soil microbial technologies are predicted to be the missing link, the key innovation that's going to allow farmers across all agriculture segments to improve crop yields, to meet the growing demands for all food crops and for cannabis. Soil microbial technologies are predicted to significantly displace chemical fertilizer applications over the next 20 years. We already know that when we add microbial technologies, soil microbes, into conventional cultivation and farming practices, farmers can achieve significantly higher yields. And this is true across many, many crops. And the largest reason for this is because nutrient use efficiency, delivering nutrients to plants effectively so they can maximize their development and growth, is a huge problem in agriculture. And using biology and microbes in agriculture is very intuitive. There's no plant in nature that exists without soil microbial interactions. Soil microbes represent the largest single, most important natural resource we have on Earth to improve agriculture. In nature, there's more than 10,000 microbial species in any one handful of soil, and over 5 nonillion bacterial cells covering the surface of the earth. And that's a 5 with 30 zeros behind it. And that's an enormous amount of energy and biomass that, as scientists, will focus on harnessing to improve agriculture, to innovate agriculture, to support crop yields. And microbes are critical to support ecosystem functioning and plant growth because they cycle important nutrients, allowing plants to maximize nutrient uptake in the very simplest form. And microbes have been supporting plant growth since the very beginning of time. Soil bacteria, in particular, evolved hundreds of millions of years before any other life existed on Earth. And they created an environment that allowed all of their life to evolve. Plants evolved about 700 million years ago into a microbial world. Their roots extended into soils teeming with microbial life. And these interactions within the rhizosphere or root zone is where microbes support nutrient cycling and plant growth. And as we develop technologies, as scientists, microbial technologies to support plant growth, we have to think about these processes, and we really have to think about microbes from a soil ecology perspective. In nature, plant roots extend and interact with diverse microbial communities in complex soil systems to cycle nutrients, liberating nutrients from the soil so plants can take them up. And there's one key concept in soil ecology that's critical to remember, and that's community. No microbe acts alone within the rhizosphere, but acts as a group or a community or a consortia to facilitate these important ecosystem functions. And as bacteria and fungi interact within the rhizosphere or root zone of microbes, they support plant health and growth by maximizing plant physiology and metabolism, by making nutrients bioavailable so plants can take them up. Microbes actually protect plants against pathogens by growing along the rhizosphere root surfaces, blocking potential infection sites, and competing against pathogens. And they stimulate plant immune responses through chemical signaling. And we know these same functions that support plant health and growth in nature can also support plant health, development, and yield in agriculture systems. This is some of the research that we published while at Colorado State University and before, demonstrating the importance of plant microbe interactions. In nature, Plants go as far as selecting specific rhizosphere microbial assemblages to maximize their success at taking in nutrients, so they can compete against other plants in nature. And some of our conclusions suggested that plants are able to do this so well in nature and succeed by harnessing the power of nature, harnessing the power of soil microbes, because they have tens of thousands of microbes to work with. And generation after generation, season after season, they can actually evolve and experiment with different microbial assemblages until they optimize those associations and interactions. And this actually brings a real challenge, or presents a real challenge for us, for humans in agriculture. How can we use microbes to optimize plant growth with precision if we're conducting precision agriculture? This is a real challenge. In nature, plants do it through trial and error. But we aren't afforded that luxury. In nature, plants have tens of thousands of microbes to work with. It's almost impossible for us to provide that much diversity. In nature, plants evolve over time and shape the microbial community within the rhizosphere over decades. And typically we work with annual crops. And so there's a simple answer. In order for us to be successful at using microbes in agriculture to maximize crop productivity and yield, we have to understand how to select the right microbes. And this isn't always easy, because not all microbes are created equal, and this is the problem as scientists we set out to solve. And this is the formula or blueprint that we felt represented a viable product that farmers could use, that growers could use to bring themselves value, to enhance crop yield. Following soil ecological approaches, we wanted to have a consortium of microbes. We wanted to make sure they were functionally targeted, that they could actually cycle specific nutrients that plants needed, and that we could measure that. We wanted to focus on efficacy, making sure that microbes were compatible across a wide range of management practices. So when growers use microbes, we were delivering live microbes. And we wanted to make sure, above everything else, that we had effectiveness, that microbes could actually significantly and continuously increase yield. And that's what we set out to do. And our first target, as far as focusing on function, was focusing on phosphorus. Not to get too deep in the weeds, this isn't going to turn into a deep scientific talk, but phosphorus is a critical macro element that's important for plants to grow across the entire growing season. If you're a grower in this room, you know how to relate phosphorus to growing cycles. It's really important for early root development, it's really important for bloom, and it's really important for specific biomolecules that all people, all animals, all plants need. There's a real problem with phosphorus in agriculture though. And there's been many studies that show how phosphorus can build up in soils for decades and build up in substrate and become unavailable to plants. What we know is that as farmers and growers add phosphorus to substrate and phosphorus fertilizer to substrate, up to 70%, apologies if you can't see this, can become almost immediately unavailable to the plants due to natural chemical binding and chemical transformations. And what we knew as scientists is that microbial communities, especially functionally targeted ones, could actually unlock these bound nutrients, transforming phosphorus back into plant available forms, maximizing plant nutrient uptake, significantly increase plant development and plant yield. And this is how we did it. We wanted a microbial community that could target phosphorus cycling, so growers could use microbes with precision to help plant phosphorus uptake. So we collected soils from across the world to identify those that can most effectively facilitate plant phosphorus uptake. We created a novel platform that we actually patented recently that could rapidly select very functional microbes that could effectively maximize plant phosphorus uptake and had really good efficacy, meaning it was very compatible across a lot of soil and soilless media in a lot of different environments, and it had a very long shelf life. These are very critical, not to get into the details, for any kind of natural product or any product period that's getting deployed into agriculture or management. Quickly, this is how it works. We train microbes at the community level to function at higher levels. Generation after generation, we can train microbes for specific functions, just like you might a plant trait selection platform. I'm going to skip over the details on this, but be happy to come engage me after the talk if you want to hear more about this. This is the final consortia of microbes that we have in our product. 4 microbes, highly functional, patented, and very effective. We started off with over 10,000 species, and our platform selected these 4 after about 100 generations. And as scientists, we're heavily data and discovery driven. Not only do we validate our technology, with every grower that we engage, I don't sell products. I provide solutions, and there's not one grower using Mammoth P that didn't get a free sample first, or one commercial cultivation facility, because we know it works. But we also want to validate our technology with the broader scientific community. And this is one of the papers we recently published in the Journal of Horticulture, peer-reviewed scientific paper on the effects of our technology, Mammoth P, on cannabis sativa. This is available on our website, and I think it's open access. Even more importantly, we're developing technologies that can be used across a wide range of management practices and a wide range of crops. This product can be used across any substrate, any nutrient line, and with other additives. And most importantly, it's really easy and simple to use, which is critical. As we did our R&D, we talked to hundreds of farmers. And what we realized is growers and farmers of any crop don't want to change a thing, but they need extra value, and they need new solutions. So we wanted to find technology and make technologies that were additives that growers didn't have to change a thing, but could incorporate this technology along in their feeding regimes and experience great results. And that's the case with this product. You know, we get thousands and thousands of testimonials. You know, our 3-year anniversary was March, and I left the university, just me. We have a team of about 50 people now. We're selling all over the world, again, in over 900 stores, and it's because it works. And I want to finish by talking about the impact. I think this is most important. I achieved a PhD. I think most people do if they take it to their education at that level, because they want to make a difference. They want to make an impact. And I think we do make an impact as manufacturers of microbial products. We know that soils in agriculture are degraded severely with management. And we know that we can start to restore agriculture soils by incorporating microbes into our cultivation practices. Ultimately, we can reduce chemical inputs by the use of natural and biological processes. But it's critical to understand that no sustainable technology is viable or will ever make it into the market unless it can bring value to growers and bring value to farmers. And that's where I think microbes do a great job of bridging the gap and actually bringing profit and bringing value to farmers by increasing yield. And I want to say also that in agriculture or growing, there's no silver bullet solution. I like to use agriculture and farming and refer to it as a team sport. It takes a lot of players and a lot of solutions to remain successful and to be successful. And not only along with microbial technologies, but growers are going to have to continue to push plant genetics and precision agriculture technologies and data to inform those technologies to remain successful. Again, in an increasingly competitive industry. And that might be hard to see from where you're sitting, but believe me, come with me. I'll take you through Washington, Oregon, where farmers are freaking out because too many people are growing too much cannabis. Big time. The ones that are innovating and adopting precision into their grows are staying. And lastly, I'd like to finish by saying there's a lot of solutions. We have a lot of decisions that we can make as cultivators. I have a farm too. That first page was my 62-acre cannabis farm. And we have several 5,000 square foot greenhouses. We do that because we can. We have the liberty to do that. And we do that strictly for agriculture research because we can.
We believe you, Colin.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you've got more than sugar, more acres.
I'll say that my stack of internship applications is
Yeah. Throw them all away, you've got us now.
Yeah.
there you go. Come on over. What I want to offer though is that out of all the solutions that farmers have and growers have, and there's trade-offs with every solution that we make, adding microbes into our cultivation practices is a simple, easy, scalable approach that will allow farmers to increase yield and increase their bottom line while adopting sustainable technologies and starting the movement of bringing nature back to agriculture, which is the impact that I really want to make as a scientist. I'll end the talk here. I really appreciate your time. This has been a great turnout. Thank you very much.